been much debate over the years about where the significance in this text lies. Is it with Peter or is it with Peter's confession? This play on words. You're Peter, which means rock, and upon this rock I will build my church. You're a pebble, and I'm going to build my church on this rock. Some argue that the emphasis here is on Peter, and this gives rise to a line of elite authoritative leaders through the process of apostolic succession. This is Catholicism's argument. However, if it is the confession here that is meant, if the emphasis is on that syllable, then this gives rise to a line of ordinary people who, like ordinary Peter, can make this extraordinary confession and be ushered into this extraordinary reality. If I believed the former, I'd be wearing a funny robe and a funny hat. So it's safe to say that I do not, that I believe the latter. And I believe we see this for a number of reasons and in a number of ways here in the text. For example, the disciples didn't see it the first way. The disciples didn't go away saying, wow, Jesus just made him the Pope. Because in chapter 18, verse 1, there's grumbling. And the disciples came to Jesus saying, who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Now, if chapter 16 had established that Peter is the rock upon which the church is going to be built, chapter 18 makes no sense. Chapter 18, verse 1. Why do you come to Jesus asking him who's the greatest if in chapter 16 it's already been established? Why is there grumbling among the disciples about this? You don't grumble about this. If there's grumbling, like who's the greatest? This doesn't even get to Jesus. Because while they're grumbling, Peter says, hey, remember Caesarea Philippi? It's me. Jesus obviously didn't mean it this way. In chapter 20, verses 25 to 28, Jesus called them to him and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave. Even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. That does not sound like Peter's been established as your Pope. I would argue that Peter didn't even see it this way. In the book that bears his name, 1 Peter chapter 5, the first 3 verses there make it clear that Peter does not see himself as the Pope. He does not see himself as the rock upon which the church is built. He writes, so I exhort the elders among you as a fellow elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, as well as a partaker in the glory that is going to be revealed. Shepherd the flock of God that is among you. Exercise oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain, but eagerly, not domineering over those in your charge, but being examples to the flock. So the disciples don't see Peter as having been made a pope. Jesus makes it clear that Peter hadn't been made a pope. And Peter later makes it clear that he doesn't see himself as having been established as a pope.